Tonight's On Reporting Scotland, could Ferguson shipyard be facing choppy waters as a crucial ferry order is awarded to a Polish firm? The order is for 7 all-electric ferries for the West Coast operator Caledonian McBrain. Unions say it's a blow to staff.
Devastated, especially the younger generation, young apprentices who are running through. This has secured a future for them for a long number of years, and it's been really good for Inverclyde as well.
Also on tonight's programme.
We've been in trouble before, maybe not quite as much trouble as this, but that's part of the joys of following this football team. There are always ups and downs.
A note of hope from fans, but no offers have been made to take over Inverness Caledonian Thistle, leaving the future of the football club at risk. We'll hear about some new technology that could improve the lives of blind and visually impaired people.
Coming up in the sport, we'll tell you all about Scotland's new striker and recap some unexpected Derby Day results.
And a mural of the footballing legend Denis Law has been completed on high-rise flats in his home city of Aberdeen. Hello, I'm Laura Miller. Welcome to Monday's programme. Ferguson shipyard on the Clyde has missed out on a £175 million contract to build 7 small electric ferries for Calmac. The ferries agency CMAL has said it's awarding the deal to the Polish shipbuilder Remontoa. Ferguson's, which is nationalised, had hoped to win the contract, but has faced a high-profile struggle to deliver 2 much larger ferries, the Glen Rosa and the Glen Sannox, on time and on budget. Our transport correspondent David Henderson has more.
They're the smallest ferries in the Calmac fleet, but they're vital to island communities. More of these vessels will be needed in the next few years, so today a contract was awarded to build 7 of them. But it's this yard at Gdansk in Poland which has won out. That decision spells defeat for its Scottish rival, Ferguson shipyard on the Clyde. It was also bidding for the work. The yard's union convener described the mood there.
Devastated, especially the younger generation, young apprentices who are running through. This has secured a future for them for a long number of years, and it's been really good for Inverclyde as well to bring in more jobs into the area.
New work for this yard is in short supply. It has just 1 more ferry to complete, the long-delayed Glen Rosa. That's prompted concern for its future in nearby Port Glasgow.
The guys are getting seriously worried about it. It's going to affect the entire community, it's going to affect the people who work there, it's going to affect their wives, it's going to affect the guys that come in here.
Port Glasgow is primarily known for the shipyards. It's called the Port of Glasgow for a reason. So the impact that it could have on this town obviously isn't going to be very positive.
Shipyards from around the world got to bid for this work. Ferguson's say that process put them and other British yards at a disadvantage.
Well, it's a sorry state of affairs if a nationalised shipyard in Scotland isn't able to win a Scottish contract and that contract is instead going to Poland rather than Port Glasgow.
When you've got a Scottish Government organisation, CMAL, not being able to award a contract to a Scottish Government-owned ferry builder, you do have to question what's going to miss after all this time.
We have a responsibility to support Ferguson Marine in securing its long-term future. We're doing that with investment of £14 million to make it a competitive yard. But we also need to deliver the new vessels that our islanders depend on. And I know has been covered extensively by the BBC and many others, just how important new vessels and a resilient ferry network is to island communities.
So with this key contract missed, the Ferguson shipyard will look elsewhere for the work it needs to secure its future.
Well, David is with me now. And David, let's just pick up on that. It's clearly a huge blow for Ferguson's. What now for the shipyard?
Well, indeed, I mean, what's happened today is certainly not part of Ferguson's long-term plan. They really wanted this contract because it would have been perfect for them. Lots of small ferries built over the course of a number of years, work that's familiar to them, so they really wanted to win it. So it's a hammer blow that it's not happened. But of course, it's not a total surprise because the Ferguson shipyard has suffered quite severe damage to its reputation in recent years as a result of its failure to deliver the Glen Sannox and the Glen Rosa on time and on budget. But as you heard there from Kate Forbes, Fergusons are now looking to secure additional work on the open market, because it's not just CalMac who need new vessels. Can they secure work for support vessels for offshore wind farms? Can they win the second part of the small vessel programme? Those are options. And as the UK spends more on defence in the coming years, can they secure work constructing sections of warships for the Royal Navy? All of those are options that are on the table. So Fergusons are down, but they're not out.
OK, thank you, David. The future of Inverness Caledonian Thistle Football Club is now at significant risk, according to administrators, after no offers were received to buy the club by its deadline earlier this month. Bidders had until 5 p.m. on Thursday the 6th of March to come forward, but the firm BDO, who are currently in control of the club, said no offers materialised. Chris McLennan reports.
It's a club that in its 30-year existence has reached the top flight and even won the Scottish Cup. But it's that very history that is at risk. Administrators say that despite a strong level of interest, no bids have been received to take over the club. Caley Thistle entered administration back in October, and with it came the loss of players and the then manager, and it also incurred a 15-point deduction. It had been hoped it would buy some time to save the club, but with no offers on the table, the future's looking bleak. Relegation from the Championship, along with administration, has brought challenges to the operation of the football club. But issues around how the club could emerge from administration, as well as uncertainty over the ownership of land surrounding the stadium, are said to have put buyers off.
My hope is that some kind of local consortium could come in and bail this out. It's very far along the road. It's almost at the stage for its last chance saloon. But I think the ultimate hope would be a local consortium, and actually I don't think that would be a bad thing.
Former chairman Alan Savage has been bankrolling the club during administration, but says that goodwill can only go on for so long.
By the end of the season I'll put $1 million in, and I can't keep funding it at this level. But I am prepared to share some of the load, so I'm hoping clarity today, people knowing what the position is, knowing that it can be fixed if we can get 3 other people to come forward and share the load, 3 other businesses. It's not unachievable, so I'm optimistic still.
For supporters, there is hope a resolution can be found.
There are always ups and downs. And yeah, the downs are maybe getting a wee bit worse. We don't want to be in this division, we don't want to be in this financial position, and we all know what the highs were playing in Europe and winning Scottish Cups. And you know, as I say, if everybody pulls together, there's no reason why we can't get more of these highs over the next few years.
With time fast running out, it appears any resolution to save Caley Thistle will need to be found quickly. Chris McLennan, reporting Scotland, Inverness.
A teenager has been charged after an Aberdeen mosque was vandalised while worshippers were inside. Paint was thrown at the door of the building in the Spittal area of the city on Saturday evening, and a window was smashed. Police are treating the incident as a hate crime. Rachel Bell reports.
The scene on Saturday night. This mosque on the Spittal in Aberdeen had white paint thrown at its doors. A few hours later, a rock was thrown through a window while worshippers were inside. The mosque say no one was injured, but people were left shaken.
We've not had anything like this while I've been here for the last 18 years, so it was just a bit of a surprise. I think the people that were in the congregation praying at the time, they were shocked. And when the brick was thrown through the window, the people that were in the mosque were also shocked and shaken up a little bit. But hopefully it's just an isolated case and it won't happen again.
Following the attacks, neighbours helped in the clean-up. The mosque has thanked them and those who sent messages of support.
Today, worshippers have been meeting here at the mosque as usual for prayers. There are still some remnants of the weekend's vandalism. The window has been boarded up, and here you can see some of the paint still on the mosque's walls.
The mosque is putting in place additional security and is urging worshippers to be extra vigilant.
There's a little bit of anxiety, but hopefully this is just an isolated case, like I said. We'll put some extra measures. We've asked the other mosques to put extra measures just in case.
Police are treating this as a hate crime. A 17-year-old man has been arrested and charged. He'll appear in court at a later date. Rachel Bell, reporting Scotland, Aberdeen.
The UK government will announce significant reforms to the benefit system tomorrow. But even before that, there's been a storm of protests. Backbench Labour MPs are voicing their concerns, as well as disability charities. So ministers are proposing cuts to working age disability and incapacity benefits. They argue there's a moral and economic case to reform benefits, claiming the welfare bill is unsustainable. So you'll hear a lot about potential cuts to PIP, the Personal Independence Payment. Here in Scotland, that's become a devolved benefit called the Adult Disability Payment. More than 374,000 people in Scotland were claiming that as of October last year. It's got the same eligibility criteria and same rate as PIP, but it is designed to be easier to apply for. Analysts suggest that if there's a saving of £1 billion by tightening up PIP's eligibility, that could translate to a £115 million cut to Scotland's budget. Well, with more, here is our political correspondent, Andrew Kerr.
It was the story which went round the world. The film star Kate Winslet stepped in to help pay the heating bills for this Tillicoultry family in 2022. Freya's now 15 and will in future be able to claim the adult disability payment. As cuts to welfare loom at Westminster, her mother Carolyn is critical of Labour, resigning from a party she had hoped to stand for.
I absolutely can't believe it. I'm quite disgusted around the fact that it's the Labour Party that are in government, UK government, and they are the party that I've stood with, I've supported, I've been a member for a long time.
Have you ripped up your Labour Party membership card?
Absolutely, yeah. It went through the shredder.
A Scottish Labour MP has been hitting out at leaked proposals as the Work and Pensions Secretary sought to allay fears.
And I want to assure the House, and most importantly the public, that we'll be coming forward with our proposals imminently to ensure there is trust and fairness in the social security system, and to ensure that it is there for people who need it, now and for years to come.
Personal Independence Payment.
Reports have suggested the UK government is planning cuts to the Personal Independence Payment, or PIP, maybe not freezing it, but wanting to tighten eligibility over concerns the welfare bill is unsustainable. In Scotland, the benefit is the Adult Disability Payment, but cuts to PIP can result in less cash for here.
The Scottish Government gets essentially the amount of money that would have been necessary to do the equivalent benefit that exists in England and Wales. They get it for Scotland through the block grant adjustment. So if there is restricted eligibility in England and Wales, then less money will come through to Scotland.
The SNP say Labour need to be upfront with people.
I accept that our policies on tax are not universally welcomed in Scotland, but what they're enabling us to do is to invest in the public services and of our country and in supporting individuals that face vulnerability. And that's the honest discussion the UK government has got to have.
Labour MPs were called into Downing Street to discuss the changes last week. The Conservatives support cuts and there could be wider public backing, but the Prime Minister is facing significant pressure. Andrew Kerr, reporting Scotland.
Police are investigating allegations of historical sexual abuse at a secondary school in the Scottish Borders, which took place between 1969 and 1980. The school has not been named, but it is understood to be Galashiels Academy. The police is encouraging any victims to come forward, regardless of how much time has passed. Scottish Borders Council say they're supporting Police Scotland with their investigations. Now, this is Major. He is a much-loved guide dog and familiar face in our newsroom, but could he be replaced by this, a robot dog? Some of the world's biggest tech companies are in Glasgow to work out how technology like this can improve the lives of blind and visually impaired people. Our reporter Ian Hamilton, who himself is blind, went along to test some of the kit.
here at the Glasgow Science Centre, a hint of the future. This is at RNIB's Inclusive Design Conference.
So all you gotta do is say, hey Meta, what's in front of me?
Hey Meta, what's in front of me?
Appears to be an artwork created by young people in community arts.
Its aim is to show the possibilities of new technology for people who are blind and visually impaired. What's the aim of these glasses, Gar?
We built them with the idea of creating attractive eyewear that lets you connect with people, lets you have immersive audio, lets you capture life's best moments hands-free. But internally, as we were conceiving this product, we had a number of folks within the team that also thought this technology could help empower blind and low vision users. And that's the aspect of them I'm most excited about.
The United Nations' first blind ambassador is optimistic about the pace of recent developments, but he's emphasising that blind people must be included early on.
Technology for blind and partially sighted people and people with disability in general is the wheel. It is as important in the transformation of our society as the wheel was in the transformation of the industrial age.
So we've actually got the WeWalk Smart Cane, which takes a standard white cane and improves it with upper body obstacle detection and connectivity to our WeWalk smartphone app. With a few simple clicks of buttons, you can find out what's around you, you can get navigation and exploration, and essentially get to know more about your landmarks. So those are the buttons there to help you control your smartphone app. Right. I'm going to set it to mid as well, so you can go a bit further. And now it's picking me up. And if you were to walk around, you'll be able to pick me up.
Nothing there.
Nothing there, but if I also sort of come in here.
Oh, there we go.
It's now picking me up. And if I also go to something like Explore.
Explore. All.
I can then click on All, and I can find out about nearby
Glasgow
places.
Science Centre, 20 metres.
Which is where we are right now.
Yeah. Technology keeps moving on, and there's progress for people like me every day. But I'm going to have to leave these developers for now and go and feed my dog. On this occasion, I think it's microchips. Ian Hamilton, reporting Scotland, Glasgow.
Where is Major? Can't replace Major.
Certainly can't. Microchips, expensive dinner as well.
Very good. Anyway, Sport Lewis, how's it looking?
Yes, international football is back. It's been a long time.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
That. Yeah, thanks very much. Well, hello there. Scotland assistant coach John Carver says striker George Hurst offers the national team a different dimension ahead of a Nations League doubleheader against Greece this week. Hurst is one of a few new faces in Steve Clarke's squad, which also includes Motherwell's Lennon Miller and James Wilson there from Hearts. Thursday's trip to Greece is the first leg of a playoff to stay in the top tier of the Nations League after Scotland finished third in their group, which concluded back in November.
When we asked him, he was delighted to come and join us, and that's what we want. We've always said we want players who want to come and play for Scotland, and it's great. And I know his dad play for England, what have you, but he wants to play for Scotland, and that's the type of player we need. So he brings us a different dimension. Obviously, we lost Dykesy because of injury, and he's an intelligent lad. He's bright. He loves football. Most importantly, he's a good player, and he certainly brings something to the squad.
Barry Ferguson has challenged his Rangers players to win every game between now and the end of the season and says the squad have received a huge shot of confidence after a great week for the club. Hamza Egeman's late winner handed Rangers a 3-2 win in the Old Firm derby, their second straight victory in the fixture, despite Celtic, whose lead at the top is now 13 points, looking near certainties to win the Premiership title. The win followed Rangers' progression to the quarter-finals of the Europa League.
Win every game. I know it's going to be difficult, it's a big ask. Domestically, we need to get better. I still believe that. Obviously, we're into the last 8 of the Europa League. But I'm not even thinking about that just now.
It doesn't matter if you're 1 point ahead or 16 points ahead like we were, or now 13. Then you have to play with that personality in the game, and we haven't done that.
Well, that wasn't the only big derby taking place yesterday, with Dundee posting a huge win in their fight to beat relegation with a thumping 4-2 defeat of arch-rivals Dundee United. The Dark Blues sat just 2 points off the bottom ahead of kick-off at Tannadice, but they raced to a 2-0 lead. United then cut that lead in half, but Dundee went on to win 4-2 with striker Simon Murray putting the icing on the cake in stoppage time.
The squad will get stronger again, and I say that, you know, when we've got everybody fit, when we've got the experience in the pitch allied with the real talent and the young players, then we're a match for anyone.
It's so hard to put your finger on it because you know, we were planning and preparing
for a 100-mile-an-hour game, and that's exactly what we got. But look, the reaction in the second half was good, but it couldn't have been any worse, to be perfectly honest.
And this is how the top flight looks with just 3 games to go before the split. That win for Dundee takes them 5 points clear of St Johnstone at the foot of the table there. For Dundee United, things now becoming a little bit tight in the race for a place in the top 6. Jim Goodwin's side now just 3 points above Motherwell, sitting in 7th. And that win for Rangers, as you heard, has reduced the gap at the top to Celtic to now 13 points. Now, it is well known that football managers are under pressure as soon as they enter the dugout, but how about this for a short-lived stay? Dunfermline have sacked their manager Michael Tidser after just 11 games in charge. Tidser has been dismissed following the club's 2-0 defeat to Raith Rovers. He only joined the club from Kelty Hearts 60 days ago, but with just 3 wins during that period, Dunfermline sits second bottom of the Championship table, 6 points ahead of Airdrie. To rugby now, and Scotland forward Grant Gilchrist says Gregor Townsend can lead the national team to success despite a disappointing 4th place finish in the Six Nations. The Scots led France in the Stade de France, but the hosts came back strongly to get the win they required to lift the tournament trophy. With 2 wins and 3 defeats, Scotland's results have stagnated of late, but Gilchrist is adamant that the future is bright.
Gregor and the coaching team, they've got the answers. And that stability and the ability to build and get better year on year has to be, for me, that's the answer. And I feel, really strongly, really passionately that there's a really special championship tour, World Cup. There's something in this team, and it's really not as far away as people say.
And finally, to curling, and Scotland have slipped to 3rd bottom of the round-robin standings at the Women's World Curling Championships after ending Monday's play in South Korea with a narrow defeat to Switzerland. They are back in action tomorrow against Sweden and Lithuania, with the top 8 nations in the Olympic standings at the end of the event guaranteed a place at next year's Games. Team GB currently sit in 8th spot. And Laura, plenty more from the national team, Steve Clarke's side, building up to that game against Greece on Thursday throughout the week. It's a big one.
It sure is. Good stuff. Now, if I said footballing legend, who would you say?
If you're talking Scotland, there's 2 big names. It's Dalglish and it's Denis Law.
Well, you are right, and I'm glad you said that because we are talking about the second one there, Denis Law. Yeah, he was born and raised in the Granite City, and today 2 large murals honouring that football legend Denis Law have been completed. One shows him playing for Scotland and the other Manchester United. Law, who scored 30 goals for Scotland, passed away in January at the age of 84. Phil McDonald has been for a look.
This is where Denis Law grew up, Printfield in Aberdeen. Law left the city at the age of 15, bound for greatness. The Clifton Court high-rise, just a stone's throw from his former home. 2 iconic moments, one famous hand-in-the-air celebration. Law's greatest days were in the red of Manchester United and the blue of Scotland. After years of planning, it's taken this artist 2 weeks to transform the outside of the building.
We were hoping to have it up before, Denis sadly passed away, but unfortunately, timing wasn't all so great. But I think, regardless, it's such a beautiful piece that it's just here to commemorate him, and it'll live on for a lot longer. It's such an honour, and the community response has just been overwhelming. I couldn't have asked for more in this project, and I think his legacy will live on through this, and the local community and the kids that are supported by the foundation and the trust as well, will benefit so much from this as well.
Denis Law's recent death brought sadness and pride to Aberdeen. Flowers and scarves were left at his statue in the city centre. This latest tribute gives Aberdonians another chance to celebrate his life.
It's an absolute masterpiece. It's just beautiful. To open your curtains every day and look at this absolute masterpiece, it's amazing.
I'm very impressed. This is the second time I've come out to see it. The last time was they hadn't actually done this wall. So I do like the blue one better than Man United.
I think it's stunning. Aberdeen should have more of these murals of famous people, You
come upon it, you just walk along the street and all of a sudden you see it. I saw them do something at the building because I've been walking at lunchtimes. I wondered what was going on, and then I just seen it come to fruition. So it's been fantastic, really good.
The mural will eventually become part of a Dennis Law trail, celebrating one of Aberdeen's favourite sporting sons. Phil McDonald reporting Scotland, Aberdeen.
Yeah, what a tribute, quite a sight. OK, Judith is here. That is quite a sight too.
Isn't
Beautiful.
it? I've
Moira.
never been to Moira.
Oh, you
and
haven't?
It's certainly on my bucket list to go.
Oh, it's lovely.
It's
lovely.
I believe it's absolutely beautiful. Next year in Scotland's Great Escapes, which is on at
There's the
8:30
plug.
tonight on the
There's
BBC
the
One
plug.
Scotland channel. Yeah, thank you very much. A very good evening to you. Across northern Scotland, there was some glorious sunshine, and there's much more of that to come this week. If I take you through the pressure chart, we have high pressure over the near continent, throwing out a sturdy ridge across Scotland, and that will bring a lot of dry and indeed sunny weather this week, and eventually we're going to drop some really mild air as well come the end of the week, but not tonight, because as skies clear right across the country, we're looking at widespread frost forming, temperatures dropping like a stone as we head through the evening and overnight, widely below freezing, -2, -3, maybe even -6, -7 in some of the glens, possibly a -8, and a few pockets of mist and fog, especially in the glens as well, holding above freezing over the Isles. So now into tomorrow, a glorious start to the day. It'll be cold, mind, and it will be frosty first thing. Any mist and fog very quickly disappearing. So we are in for just a lovely spring day. That's the way to put it, really. Lots of sunshine on offer. And even though we start off cold, we'll see highs of 10 or 11 Celsius, and with very little in the way of wind, it will feel nice in that sunshine. A bit of a breeze coming in around the Inner Hebrides from the southeast, but that's about it. A bit more cloud for the Western Isles, and starting off cloudy for Shetland, but that will thin and break as we head through the afternoon. So all in all, a lovely spring day. Into tomorrow evening, once again, those temperatures plummeting away. Another widespread sharp frost forming. Mist and low cloud too, especially over the higher ground to the north of the central belt. And we will see another very cold start to Wednesday. A widespread frost, any mist quickly shifting. Lots of dry weather once again, and lots of spring sunshine as well. And those temperatures 8 to 11 Celsius, a bit cooler towards the east coast. So let's look at the air mass graphic. We have continental air coming across from the Europe, bringing a lot milder conditions across the country. And by the time we reach Thursday and Friday, temperatures well into double figures. And actually on Friday in the sunshine, we could see 17 Celsius, maybe 18. Summer here for one day only. That's the forecast.
Gosh, good stuff, Jude. I think you've just bagged yourself another season with that plug as well. Thank you.
So.
Now tonight's main news again. Ferguson shipyard on the Clyde has missed out on a £175 million contract to build 7 small electric ferries for Calmac. The ferries agency CMAL has said it's awarding the deal to the Polish shipbuilder Remontoa. And that is Reporting Scotland. I will have your late news at 10:30. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.